Welcome to the Everyday Executive Woman, casual chats about real life as a woman and leader. The podcast where senior level women leaders share real life stories, struggles, and strategies to thrive personally and professionally. I'm your host, Well Woman Executive Coach and Brain Rewiring Expert, Lisa Michelle Smith. Join me for casual and candid conversations, relatable insights, and actionable guidance that will inspire and empower you to lead confidently, live healthily, and embrace your perfectly imperfect self. Welcome, everyone, to our podcast today. I'm thrilled to have Hillary Glad-Boyce on with us today to share a bit about her business and her role as a small business owner and how she leads other people through her business, and just what her everyday life is like as an executive woman. So Hillary Boyce is the founder and CEO of BAFO Services LLC, which is a small woman-owned government contracting business. She has over 20 years of experience in the procurement, execution, and management of government contracts. In addition to being a U.S. Army veteran, she is a proud spouse of an active duty naval officer. She attended college at the University of Maryland for business administration and recently completed law school at Regent University. Congratulations on that. Hillary currently serves her local community as a board member of the Armed Forces Communication and Electronics Association and Women in Defense of Hampton Roads. She also serves as a business coach for the Honor Foundation, which assists Navy SEALs and the U.S. Special Operations community with transition services. She has a passion and love for helping small businesses achieve their growth goals within the U.S. government and contracting industry. And there's a little bit more about her bio in the podcast description, but that's some of the highlights that I wanted to share. And I'd love for you to start off, Hillary, by sharing what BAFO stands for, BAFO, for the name of your company, because I love it.
Well, officially it stands for Best and Final Offer, which is an older term in the government acquisition world of competing for the one company that's going to win the actual solicitation. But when I'm talking amongst women-owned entrepreneurs and clients and company owners, uh, please excuse my French, but it stands for Badass Female Operation.
Yes.
Unofficially.
Yeah, I love it. So tell me, what brought you to starting your own business? Kind of what led up to that for you?
So I've owned a previous government contract company before. I guess the whole path of that initial change kind of wasn't I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, it was like a path that they planned and it was a milestone they planned. For me, it wasn't really that. I'm prior military. I'm kind of like a unstoppable workforce. I'm told, where I just don't slow down, and I have a work ethic that I try to overcome any learning curve with that. It kind of was just the next natural, unwritten progression that here it is. So again, it wasn't really a investment plan and a big, well thought out plan like most probably should have. It's just here we are. Let's do this and let's do it.
Yeah.
So I sold my first company, which was a success and a learning experience. And so this one I'm doing a little bit different from that learning experience on how to set it up and what I want the scope to be. But it's just empowering, and I love having the freedom to be an entrepreneur. For the work-life balance that you can take care of aging parents and see family and be a good military spouse. And I love to have great employees underneath me that are groomed for the next level. So it's good all around, and for me, from my standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so on that topic, then, how do you go about sort of finding the right people and knowing that you've found the right people for the roles that you have in your company now?
Well, I mean, that's always a challenge. I'm a big advocate of giving people a chance that nobody else would. Giving people a chance that got fired, has a bad reference, has a bad past. That's kind of just looking for that opportunity. So, in my opinion, I give those people an opportunity, and I let them see what they're going to do with it. It's up to them to grab a hold, learn, research on their own, be responsive, jump in there, be that helpful resource. And then that's the kind of employee that I start part-time. I see their potential, and then I navigate them to give them full-time leadership capabilities. But so, I mean, that sometimes comes with a great resume, and that sometimes come with a bad resume. Like, I try to give people a chance, and then it's up to them quickly to prove it or not. I'm a big advocate on firing as soon as possible whenever they don't work, because it's time, it's energy,
Yeah.
it's negativity, it's space. Like, there are times where I hire people to be a trainee and me to teach them and groom them, but
Hmm.
there's times where I need someone to hit the floor running and be a resource out the door. So you just have to take both of those for what you're hiring and who you're hiring. But it's going to be a constant challenge, just like Good to Great, the book.
Yeah.
The quicker you get the wrong people off the bus, the more effort and energy that you can apply to those resources that are hardworking, loyal, and just want a chance. So I'm all about, let's give someone a chance and see what they can do with it. And it's been a success. I think that builds loyalty, and you build happy morale
Yeah.
staff. So
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I heard it. I can't remember who I heard it from, but it was hire slowly, fire quickly.
yes, yes, and I probably hire quickly and fire quicker. But to me, it takes me a week to figure out, are you responsive? Do you have some, motivation? There's things I think that I can't teach. I can't teach your self-time management. I can't teach your need to be responsive. I can't teach your need for initiative. Like, if you don't have that within a week, I can't work with you. If you have that and you don't know the skills, I'll still teach you. But
Mhm.
I need to see that up front. And I know we all go through different chapters of our lives, family members, struggles. Everyone's not always the best performer with their life situations, but I need to see that up front, or else we're not going to even get to know what your children's names are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, uh, can you tell us what a typical day looks like for you, starting in the morning with, waking up and then, going into doing the work that you do, and how kind of how and when you're ending your day. So sort of give us that sort of behind the scenes of real life for Hillary.
It's not pretty. I'll go ahead and tell you that. And I know it's not pretty, and I know it's a weakness. And typical day normally is I'm dead. First, let's start with the night. I'm dead tired at night because of all day, and I crash at 9 o'clock. That's a dream night. But then at 1 o'clock a.m., I'm up. I'm responding to emails. I'm doing the write ups. I'm doing the behind the scenes work that I have to kind of get done, because the workday are usually so busy with actual client meetings and meetings. So usually I get up about 1 o'clock. When my significant other isn't deployed, I try to sneak back in the bed about 4 or 5, so he thinks I've been in bed with him all night, and then we get up together. He's kind of caught on to my tricks, but he's a good sport. And then I'll get up again and hit it hard for the daily meetings that start at 7:30, 8, ongoing. But I have clients, employees at all time zones. So for me, that middle of the night shift is kind of critical to do all the back end documents, the preparedness, the accountings, the stuff that's not client focused, but
Mhm.
needed for the back end of your business.
Yeah,
So
great.
it's not pretty, you
Well,
know.
like I say, this show isn't about, interviewing people who are all polished, right? It's the everyday
Right.
executive woman, and, flaws and all, right?
Yeah.
So helping everybody to recognize, um, you don't have to have all your, what together in
Yeah.
in order to be, successful. And, so we want to take the masks off and let people know that, you can have those flaws, you can, have those challenges, but still be able to have the impact that you want and be able to live the life that you want.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that balancing act between things as well. The seesaw is never totally even, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's up
Right.
or down more in one area than the other. But it's really about, learning how to, bring each side back up a little bit when it gets down too much.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so
But I'm sure you probably have also seen it, where you'll meet someone and talk to them "Oh, you're a CEO? Oh, how nice. You don't do anything." I'm like, "Okay." Let me the typical day is not that. And maybe it is for some, but I'm fully invested. I'm fully invested with the quality that my staff does, my client responsiveness.
Yeah.
I do have a great workforce to support me, and there is times where I'll go completely offline for the day and night,
Mhm.
and my team will, we'll cover down. But normally that's just the flow that kind of works for me.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And it's, again, I found typically with the female executives that I work with that, they tend to be givers, right? And oftentimes
Mhm.
over giving and sort of draining their own cup. But I think, in general, for women, that's tends to be the propensity. And especially, if somebody's in a more corporate environment, or in an environment where there's more, sort of men that they feel like they need to step it up even more in order
Yeah.
to, prove they're right at the table, so to speak. Uh,
Yeah, and I would say my industry is definitely more male populated. So I don't know if more hours makes me help dominate it. It's just there's just only 24 hours in the day, and like, and my company's been on a steady glide path for growth, which is great. So I'm constantly hiring. I've been taking on lots of new clients continuously, which there has to be a point, which I think we're at that point of no more. We're at that point, I believe.
so like cutting off like new business for a while.
Probably both. Be more selective of new clients. I have about 48 support staff, which is much more than I wanted. But with client growth, that's kind of where I'm at. And I have about 70 clients, which I don't. I feel like if I take on any more, they won't get the attention that they need,
Mm,
and intimacy that they need. So we're at a great, healthy pace, but just want to be more selective of the next new client and kind of stay where we are and concentrate on what we're doing because we're busy, and that's good. Business is good. Um,
yeah, I love that. And it's a good lesson, right? Especially for the, um, founding, company founders is, creating that balance with, growth versus knowing when you're going to start to get sloppy or not be able to serve your clients well because you're growing too fast or you're not able to sort of, put the pause on for a little bit and
yeah.
get that structure that you need. Um, so when you have to make a hard decision in your role as the CEO of your company, uh, can you identify any guidelines or values that you rely upon to help you make those decisions and feel good about the decisions you make?
I mean, it kind of depends on a lot of what kind of decision it is. I try to stick to the core integrity and honesty with myself, with my staff, with my business decisions. Um, I try to stay aligned with that. I try to always kind of run things back past my leads with my team too. So, hey, what do you think about this? I've also found a lot of success personally with other entrepreneurs, and even if they're not in your same industry, they do something different. Just to bounce ideas off of a core group of friends that are kind of, they have the same kind of things. Hey, I'm having this issue with, whether it's your liability insurance, who do you use? What do you do? Like whatever those things are. Is it, hey, I think I'm about this direction. It's just great to have a sounding board where of course you're the ultimate decision maker, but you're bouncing ideas and more than just your spouse, but other entrepreneurs. So I try to just stick with that. Try to stay mission, driven. I try to take a moment. I try not to ever make a decision on a whim and sleep on it, think about it. I mean, it's hard sometimes. But usually when I do that, sometimes I have the same decision I want to do. And then it's what you're supposed to do. The hard decisions are good, but the quicker I think that you make them and you stick with your plan to move out, then that's the path. And you adjust fire. As an entrepreneur, as even not an entrepreneur, you might not have chose the right thing, but you just figure out how to adjust to make the best business meet, means results for your team, for your clients, and for you personally.
That's a great guideline. And you used a phrase, adjust fire.
Yeah.
That's from the
Sorry,
military.
army terms.
No, I love it, but it's a great, it's a great phrase. It's like
Yeah.
fire and then see where you hit and then adjust,
Right.
fire
Right.
again. Right. And so I think that's an important point, right? Because sometimes we delay decisions, we get into analysis paralysis, or we're afraid of making the wrong decision. And, and oftentimes we don't know enough information. We just have to make a decision based on the information we know. And then once we do, then we get more information as things play out that we couldn't have had
Oh, yeah.
until we actually took the motion and
Right.
know that, you can always adjust, right? So there's no
Right.
wrong final decision, really to anything.
Right.
It's okay. See where you hit and then, adjust for the next shot.
Right. I think it's just as humans, if we don't stay open and evolving, things change. Then, not just humans, companies, scope, core competencies, they have to shift a little bit. I'm not saying take a counseling company to be construction, but like you kind of have to stay with the industry of what makes you be an attractive resource to clients and as an employer.
Yeah, I think, that's a good point too, is always reevaluating.
Yep.
um, your approach and your market and how you're serving, who you're serving, where are you doing well, where do you want to move? So not being stagnant, right? And sort of
Yep.
staying in that rut, because that's where a lot of companies go wrong. And whether you're owning your own company or whether you're, a lead for a department, a team or something, uh, that's the job of an executive, to have that ability to do some of that foresight and thinking and projecting and figuring out where and how you need to pivot. I think the pandemic really showed us a lot about that, and
Yeah.
need to do that to stay in play.
Yes.
Um, so another question that I had is there a person or a book that you feel had a significant impact on either your personal life or your professional life?
A person or a book? I would say, um, person. Many. There's many. My mother has always probably been my true north of motivation and an example. She wasn't an entrepreneur. She didn't do the military, but she's always set up her life to give back, whether it's mission work. She worked hard. She went on mission trips during the summer. She retired so she could be a missionary. Like, I think that's been important behind the business, just important for me to constantly be involved on. I do a lot of mission trips and mission work. It kind of just keeps me grounded. It keeps me to know that's what I do it for. So she's been very motivational for that. I've had a lot of great people throughout my military front career that gave me great examples and motivations, and also a sounding board as I've opened up companies and sold them, and where I'm at now that I look up to extremely. They're not all. They're actually most. They're not men. They're not women. Not that that was intentional. It's just the atmosphere. So just, yeah. So no really book. I feel like I'm forced to read all the time for work regulations and policies. So unfortunately, I do not find joy in reading. To me, it's a job. Yeah.
Mhm.
People sometimes give me books for presents, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I work.
What about you? What is it from your military career and training or experiences that you feel has served you well in being a business owner and running your business or lead?
I think resilience. I think military resilience is probably the best thing. Discipline and how to work under pressure. To me, I think I got that from the military. You can get it from different places, but I think that's where I got it, saw it, took it home. It might not all suck in during then, but it's what I know I need is resilience, the discipline, and then be able to work under pressure. Like I was telling you before the call started, I thrive in stress. I do. I thrive in deadlines. I thrive in tight deadlines. Some people don't. Some people crack and can't operate, but I thrive in that. And what we do from a business standpoint, helping companies do proposals, is always deadlines. It's always because someone missed a deadline and you have a short window, help me, help me, help me, or we're going to miss it. So it's kind of like I live in that. I live in that stress. I think someone told me recently that I must be a stress addict. So it's what thrives, and it's what I think I try to take from my clients. If I can take their stress and take it, and then I'm providing them a better service, and it's a needed service, not just it's helping them in their most stressful time of their growth cycle. So I'm not sure if that answers the question 100%, but
So, um, and so, there's only so much that, stress that we can take before, we start to break. So I'm curious for you, what are the ways that you help yourself to pull back or to relax, to unwind, to recoup? What do you do for that? And how frequently do you, allow yourself to do that?
my mine might not be the traditional, but I got a hot tub, and it is the best investment of my life. And people are like, "You're only going to use it the first month you have it." No, my husband and I use it daily. It's our bring it and leave it, drop it zone. Like it's our stress from our body, from our muscles, from our mental. Another non-traditional probably method is a golf cart. We ride around our neighborhood with our lit up golf cart that's got American flags, and everyone's waving and we look ridiculous, and it's just not stressful. So, that to me is our non-stress. And really my partner, we both separately are a barrel of stress, but together we're kind of like each other's calm. And it's just my soulmate that I found, and I take his stress, he takes my stress, and it's just what gets us past it. I mean, I probably am more stressed than him, even though he's a military member. I think I stress for both of us, but he's in between deployments. He's got his own stressors with all that that's happening. But stress, massages too. Let
Mm.
me do. We love our couples massages.
How
That's
often do
why, because
you schedule those?
we only do them once a month on the regular, but
Well, that's
sometimes
still a lot, more
sometimes
than
we'll
most
throw
people.
in, yeah, well, sometimes we'll throw in more. Um, we are big cruise fans. Um, I can work on a cruise. I can work anywhere remotely. And so cruises, massages, so I throw in more than, but once a month is our regular subscription that we have. So I'm probably willing to buy a couple more. But yeah, stress is that's what does it for me. I know a lot of friends, they go shopping when they're stressed. I'm not that girl. Um, put me in the hot tub for a minute, put me back to work. I'm good.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
works for me.
Just let that stress drain away into
You
the
try to. And I tell you, me and my partner are silly. We dress up in costumes for various activities, events. It's Thanksgiving week. We wore pilgrim outfits. That's kind of like our de-stress, silly couple thing that we do. And it's what works for us. And it's
Yeah,
my happy place.
yeah. It creates like a lightheartedness, a fun.
Fun. Yeah. And people that know me just on the friend zone that don't know my work, they're like, "Oh my God, you're just happy and no stressed all the time." I'm like, that's just the 2 hours you see me. Like, but it just works. You have to have that what you do offline and what you do on work. There are two different, releases.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so before we move on to a couple of fun questions, is there anything else that you feel would be helpful for other, women, small women business owner who lead teams of people, or, executive women, that, you would give in terms of words of advice to help them with, you know, managing and doing well in their role, especially as a woman?
I would say the biggest thing I try to tell people, mentor people, is don't be afraid to mess up. You know, make a mistake in business, make a mistake on the step that you made, the job, and you learn from it. And again, you adjust fire. But those mistakes, if someone had a beautiful path with no mistakes and they tell you that, they're lying. They might not have been above board and or publicized, but that's what you learn and you grow and you figure out how to adjust to get that where you need to be. So celebrate those mistakes, celebrate those overcoming those mistakes, celebrate that path forward. So don't beat yourself up, get back up. The quicker you get back up and dust yourself off and make a plan, the better. Don't get stuck in the pity of I made a mistake, I can't overcome, and get up and keep moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's resilience is one of the things that I focus on and teach my clients how to build skills in, because it is some people have already sort of built those skills based on, their environment, things that they've experienced, and they've sort of strengthened that muscle. The good thing is that you can learn resilient skills. One of the things that I share with clients is looking at, what did you gain from it? So every challenge, every failure has within it, something of value. Either you learned something you didn't know before that now that you know it, you can use that in the future to have better outcomes or make better decisions, or maybe it's stretched you in some way that allowed you to grow. So there's growth is a gift sometimes in those failures. And then the third thing is sometimes it creates a sense of inspired action. You see something that, well, I failed because the system, right, wasn't set up to help me to succeed, or something like that. They see something is broken or not working well, and instead of just complaining about it, they say, well, let me find a way to improve this for others, right? So that they're finding a gift for themselves or for other people in what they saw isn't working well, and finding a way to improve it and take inspired action on that. So I love that philosophy as well. So a couple of fun questions with our remaining time. If you could have any superpower for a day, what would it be, and how would you use it in your role as a executive woman?
Superpower. I think I have a need for speed. I would be a speed demon. Hopefully I'm trying to reform myself and get less speeding tickets, but speed, responsiveness, that would be I would be faster. I mean, I'm pretty fast as it is, but just the speed is something that I
Is there any
would love.
particular area that you would really want to apply that to, that you feel would have best impact?
Um, I don't know if I have a 100% answer for that. In what we do, it's not always a quick process to get the quality of the winning product for winning proposals. So speed necessarily isn't quality, isn't quantity or quality. Um, but yeah, if I could just have more time in the day with that speed demon superpower pill, that'd be great. Can you make that happen, Lisa?
I haven't mastered that one yet.
Let me know.
And then if you had to sing a karaoke song right now, I'm not going to make you, but what song would you choose and why?
Karaoke song. So, um, I just returned from a mission trip in Kenya, and so I taught a lot of the young girls there, Beyonce, about who rules the world, girls. Um, that's kind of I did that a lot of the mission trip because it was a woman empowered period poverty mission trip, but that's kind of my motto. We rule the world.
All right. And that's a Beyonce song. So
Yes,
I'll
I
have
think. I think.
I
Sorry,
don't know.
Beyonce, if I didn't get it right.
I know a few Beyonce songs, but
Yeah.
yeah, not big on her. But well, it's been a delight getting to know you even
Same
more.
here.
I know we've known each other for a few years, and learning more about your business and your what you're doing with that and what you're enjoying about it. So hopefully, again, other women will find something of inspiration in what you shared today, and whether they're just starting off in an executive role, or they've been in it for a while, or maybe they've got some of those inklings to go off and start a business and run a company. The goal of these interviews is to give those women that inspiration and know that they don't have to have it perfect and all lined up in order
Absolutely.
to achieve their dreams, be successful, and be able to still have an enjoyable personal life as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining me today, Hillary.
Thank you, Lisa. Have a good one.
Thanks for joining me on The Everyday Executive Woman. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe or bookmark this channel, leave a review, and share it with another executive woman who could use some encouragement. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Just be you. Until next time, keep grounded, keep growing, and keep taking care of you.